everyone. My name is MG Hunt, and today I'm here with someone who leads a fascinating life in the publishing world. Please welcome Kaitlan Sharpe, who is an editor, a ghostwriter, and a self-publishing manager. Thank you so much for being here, Kaitlan, and welcome to the show.
You. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. And we were just talking off camera about the experience that I had at the Indie Author Festival in Adelaide last year and how that was such a highlight of my literary life so far. And you also enjoyed it as well.
I did. I was very tired,
Yes.
but it was so worth it. We had the best time.
Yeah.
I Yeah, I met so many new people, and just the experience in the venue was just so good.
Yeah, the
It was
venue.
worth being tired the next day.
Absolutely. And you had a day off the next day, I can imagine. That was on
Yes,
us. Yes, so you could just
yes,
rest.
I did.
Take it all in because you're one of the main people organizing it, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So we were there from like just before 7, and then we didn't leave until I don't know, like 6. And then we went out for like a dinner after with all the team,
Yeah.
like a celebration. So we didn't get home till like 10 o'clock. So it was a long day.
Massive day, especially working throughout the week, no doubt, that you're just like,
Yeah.
wow, what a massive day
So
that
worth
was.
it though.
So
It was
worth it.
great.
Totally agree.
We were on a high, and then afterwards we kind of all crashed a bit, but it was good.
It was
A good
good.
experience. Now we know what to be prepared for next this year. So
That's right, this year. So it's all happening again in October, which we'll talk more about that as this chat goes on. But to
awesome.
start off, let's focus on you, Caitlin. Can
Yeah.
you tell us where you grew up and a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up here in Adelaide my whole life. Haven't left, not planning on leaving. I love my little town here in Adelaide. It's quiet.
Beautiful.
And I've always just been interested in publishing and reading in general. From a very young age, it was always kind of an escape for me.
Mm.
And then I ended up just following that passion into uni through creative writing, and I did a Bachelor of Media and Communications as well. So
Yeah.
I had that type of technical, but also the creative writing side.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I just happened to find a job and fall into it really easily, which is not what you expect in
No.
publishing. Yeah, so I was very, very lucky, and it's just been able to help me, develop my skills and work out where I want to be. So
Wow.
I've been working full time basically as soon as I finished uni. So, well, before I officially graduated because it was during COVID. So we didn't get to have our ceremony. So I was working
Oh,
before I even properly graduated. So
yeah.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, all those years ago now. It just seems
I
like
know.
it's still ingrained in our in our
Yeah,
minds. But it's so I could imagine going and graduating. Like, did you finish uni the year before COVID?
yeah, I did.
Okay, okay, all
Yeah. So
right. Yeah,
I think I had a year between
yeah,
the final date of
yes,
being there and then
yeah.
actually having the ceremony. It just felt weird because it was like I'm done, and now we have to come back.
Never to come back, never to come back. It's funny, isn't it?
So
Because sometimes it
yeah,
looks like a big graduation hall thing, and then even if you do that,
it's
it's like a
really
2 hour
not.
thing, and then you're done.
Yeah, you hear your name like said out
Yeah,
loud for 5 seconds and then it's done.
and then it's done.
So it was a little bit weird.
Yeah,
It felt odd. I had to take a day off work to go to it.
yeah, yeah. That's another thing too that I think people forget. Like I remember having to ask for time off to go to my graduation
Yeah,
as well,
and
which is
it's
a
just
good place to
so
be in.
weird. Yeah, definitely. I was there for 4 years. It was meant to be like a 3-year degree, but because I did a double degree,
Yes.
I just stayed on a little bit longer so I could do those extra things.
Yeah.
Um, and the first 2 years flew by, and then it started dragging when it all went online. I
Mm.
like to be there.
Hmm.
And I found it very hard to motivate myself just being stuck in my bedroom at home. I
Yep.
just didn't feel good.
Doesn't have the
But
same
I got
experience.
through it.
You got through it. You got through it. So you did a
Yeah.
double degree and it was media and communications. Is that right?
Yeah. So they changed the degree name
Yep.
like right at the end. So when I first started, it was professional writing and communication, and then they changed it to media and communications.
Yep.
And then I did a second, like a double degree in creative writing on the side.
Oh,
So I was
amazing.
doing both of them at the same time, and it was quite hard to switch between the technical and then the creative side, but it was good. I enjoyed it. It took the slug out of it a bit because I was breaking up my weekly lessons with things that are fun and then things that are just boring. So,
Yep. Yeah,
because a lot of
absolutely.
it was just like technical work. And then I was completely thrown off guard when they were like, all right, now you can do graphic design. And I was like, I'm not the person for this. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a weird mix of things. And I
Yeah.
don't know how I passed that class because I was terrible at it. And it wasn't until I think the second or third year that's when they started bringing in those things because I suppose with
Mm.
communication, it all needs to go together.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
I did not know what I was doing. It was
It's really
terrible. I
hard.
looking back at my assignments, I don't know how I passed.
I don't even know. That's a tall order because as
It
so
just
I'm a
wasn't my strength.
yeah, well that's right. With graphic design, I did that as a diploma after I did a Bachelor of Arts and Visual Arts. But even within my arts degree, we did media and communications I did that as like a minor, and that was
Yeah.
not graphic design. That was probably more aligned with your stuff and what you're
Yeah.
talking about. So that's like a
It
tall
it
order
was
to get
weird.
people to do that.
It was good experience. I think,
Mm,
I mean, obviously I don't do any of the graphic
yes.
design or
Hmm.
book cover design side in publishing,
Yep.
but it did set me up for knowing what is good design and how to communicate design effectively. So
Yes. Yeah.
it was good for that. And because I have like the background in the creative as well, kind of bringing it together helps.
Yes.
But I would never do anything like that because I'm just not good at it. My strength is words and I want to stay with words.
Yeah, that's why you went into this degree in the
Yeah,
first place. And I find that, look, overall, it seemed like it put you in good stead for
it did.
landing this
Yeah.
job that you are still in now, straight out of
Yeah.
uni. And now you've been
Yeah.
here for at Green Hill Press, is that right?
Yeah. Green Hill Publishing in
Oh, Green Hill
Adelaide.
Publishing. And you've been there straight out of uni. You're still there now. Like, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I know. Coming up 6 years. Crazy.
Wow. You'll be on that
Yeah.
long service leave soon.
No, it's crazy. It's just it
Yeah.
has blown me by. I feel like I'm still 16. I know I'm not anywhere near 16, but I still feel like I am. And it just feels weird that I'm, managing all these people and telling them what to do. It's just like I'm still young. I shouldn't be doing this.
I think you are just, I think we need more young people in management positions, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, why not? Like, it doesn't matter about all
Exactly.
that stuff. The age doesn't matter. You have the dedication and the drive to do everything all at
Yeah.
once.
And it definitely helps when you're like passionate about something.
Yes.
And I feel like this is the space that I am the most passionate about, and I have been forever. So it
Wow.
kind of just comes naturally. So, yeah.
Yes, it comes
I mean,
naturally to you.
that's a long-winded answer of
Yeah.
where I've come from.
I love it. We're no stranger to long-windedness here on this show. So please, whatever you want to say, go for it. But that does lead me into the next question that I have for you, which
Yeah.
is what does a day in your life look like? Because, oh my goodness, you've got a busy life.
Do. I decided to make my life hard and have two jobs at the same time, but that's okay.
That's,
Um,
yeah.
So a typical like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, I work full time at Green Hill Publishing as a manager. So I do a lot of client facing things like project management, so walking authors through the publishing process and their
Yes.
book production. And then I also do um, like management of the team
Yeah.
and talking to stakeholders, printers, distribution, things like that, as well as some accounting things
Oh,
each
everything.
day. So
Oh,
yeah, that's my 9 to 5. It gets pretty crazy. Sometimes I don't get a chance to breathe. I've got
oh,
calls all the time, but it is so good. It feels
yeah.
my days go so fast, and there's always something to do, or like creating new policies or looking into
Mm,
what we need to do to move forward with the industry, especially with AI and all of that coming in. So
yeah.
yeah, it's
Mm,
that's my 9 to 5. And then when I come home from work, I will work on my business. So Loads of Books is my business, and I do ghostwriting primarily. That's my main area of expertise after working in publishing for all that time, especially in the self-publishing or indie publishing model.
yeah.
You don't really hear about, it's not talked about that you can still have ghostwriting if
Yeah.
you need help communicating your ideas, or not even just writing the whole thing. It's just getting the structure down, working out if you're going the right way about it. So I created my business for that. And I
Mm,
do editing as well, and sometimes book coaching. A lot of it kind of blends in together, especially if I'm doing like a ghostwriting job.
yes.
Um, but yeah, so that's basically a day in the life. Sometimes I get home from work and I think, all right, I'm actually going to just do something completely different tonight. But that normally means I'll read a book, so it's not a
Yeah.
big difference. So,
Yeah, not too
but at
different.
least I'm not staring at a screen. I think that's the big thing, like the screen time.
Yes, protect your eyes.
Yes. And they're already bad enough as it is.
You and me both. I mean, I've got the contacts in now, but I was banned from wearing my contacts in front of the screen a couple of
Oh yeah.
weeks ago at my last
Yeah.
appointment. So I have to wear this is a different thing because the screen's over here now. Okay, I can
Yes,
I can go
exactly.
with
You're
that.
not right up against it.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, busy is your
Yeah,
life.
very busy, but I think I've got to a place where I've worked out how to balance it. So obviously
Yeah.
in the early days it was quite hard. I
Mm,
wasn't really, because I knew what I wanted to do and what I thought I could add to indie publishing from my knowledge. Like before, when I first
mm.
started, I the only type of publishing, even in uni, like they didn't really talk about that
Yeah.
side. It was just
Okay.
traditional. And
Yes.
then very briefly touching self-publishing, but it was looked down upon
Yeah. Yeah.
then. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it still kind of is,
Mm-hmm.
but once I got out and then I got my job where I am now, it opened my eyes a lot. And I saw that there are things that we need in indie publishing to make it more accessible for people that, aren't going to get a traditional deal, or,
Yeah.
they're not, their book concept might be amazing and it could sell thousands of books, but there's just too many manuscripts on the pile, they'll never get seen.
Yep.
So yeah, that kind of became my passion. It was
Mm.
more about helping people see that just because, you know, somebody says no once doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so empowering for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest thing that I see every day is just it's kind of like a lack of confidence or loss of confidence
Yeah.
from the process. And obviously, like there's no way they can get through every single manuscript
That's
submission you
it.
get. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that choosing to self-publish is not a good option.
That's right.
It can actually be really sustainable for some people, and they can end up, you know, living off of that. Like it works, and you
That's
just
right.
gotta be confident in your work. So
Yeah, and now
yeah,
we've got places and institutions, businesses like yourself with your dual
yeah,
role with management, but also in your
yeah,
own professional life where you're offering those solutions to people out there that are curious.
yeah. And obviously the self-publishing, there's lots of different sides of it. So you could have ex DIY, so you do everything yourself, and then you have the assisted self-publishing as like what Green Hill offers.
Mm.
So we have people that are trained in graphic design, book design, editing, project management. So we actually have people that have experience in the industry and know what they're doing,
Yes.
but then offering to help people that don't know where to start. So I think it's still a bit of a gray area in publishing as well, because,
Hmm.
with self-publishing, people think it's either DIY everything or it's not
Yes.
self-publishing.
Interesting.
But
Mm.
it doesn't necessarily mean that. Sometimes you just need somebody who knows book design. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's
we all pay for our services with like what I do. Luckily, there's graphic design that's in my background, but if I wasn't in that, I would be getting someone to design my books. I know that I'm not an editor, so that's why I've got an editor to
yeah,
do my books. So there actually is a lot of not just do it. No, it's very much no DIY with
yeah.
self-publishing. You're going to get other
No.
people involved.
And I think that's like the misconception. Everybody thinks, well, not everybody, but
Mm,
majority of people, if they hear self-publishing, they instantly think low quality,
yes.
hasn't been edited, hasn't been designed. When actually, for the most part, a lot of people that do these things are investing a lot of money and time and effort into the book.
Yes.
Um, and
Yes.
they're doing it as a full-time job on top of their other full-time jobs.
It
So
needs to be treated like a full-time job. I'm so glad that you
yeah,
say that because
it
it
is.
really, really is no joke when it comes to
Yeah.
getting your stuff out there and getting stuff sorted to publish a book, whether traditionally
Yeah,
publish, self-publish, it's
it's
both
just it's
a lot.
so hard. and
Yes.
and that's another misconception I see a lot is people think that, well, people that come to us think, so self-publishing, you do everything yourself, but traditional, you just don't
Hand
have
it
to do
off.
anything. But
Mm,
it's not like that anymore.
no.
You have to actually have an author platform and be talking to people and have like a brand behind you. People need to identify you and want to
Yes.
read your stuff and interact with you. So it's a big job. It's not easy.
It's so full on. It's
Yeah.
such a, especially in the age of the social media boom and
Mhm.
how that's such a big avenue for marketing, especially with
Yeah.
self-publishing. It's just another skill that you have to learn on top of all this other stuff that you've got to learn about the industry. So,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's
And it
it's
would be
not easy.
amazing if somebody else could do it for you. And
Right.
obviously, you could pay somebody to post your social media,
Sure.
but people aren't going to know who you are if you don't do it
That's
yourself.
right. People need
So,
to know who you are outside of the books. But, at the same time, maybe this leads me into the ghostwriting questions that I have
yeah,
for you because, yeah, it's funny about identity being linked to your author brand, but sometimes I guess that can be the lines of that can be blurred a little bit with the
yeah,
ghostwriting.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
which I'm
Yeah.
so curious about with ghostwriting
It's
in
a tricky
particular.
one.
It
It's
is
definitely a
tricky.
tricky one.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing as well. I feel like ghostwriting is looked down upon as
Mm.
well, because you're basically saying you're an author when you haven't written the book. But there are lots of reasons people get ghostwriting.
Yeah.
They just might not be able to write. They don't have the time. They are dyslexic.
Yep.
Um, they, I don't, there's so many
So many
ideas, and
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like where I come from. It's more about accessibility and helping people that don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So the way that
Absolutely.
I work um, with my clients is I ask them to fill in a form, or at least give me dot points of what they want to work on, or get them to write things from their own perspective. And then I just help reshape it. So it's not like it's not
Mm,
them.
exactly.
They're still contributing. I'm just helping craft it to be able to be read.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely a blurry line.
Yeah.
But I feel like as long as you're transparent, obviously you don't have to be, but if somebody asks you, it doesn't need to be something that you look down upon,
No.
because there's a reason that you've had it that
It's
service. So
you want it to be good
yeah.
quality. Ghostwriting is a great avenue for that. So, for those that aren't super familiar with ghostwriting, what is ghostwriting? And can you give us an insight into why you're
Yeah.
doing it just for non-fiction at this
Mhm.
late stage?
So ghostwriting, I suppose the easiest way to explain it is you write content for somebody and then they put their name on it as the author. So you remain invisible unless the person who's contracted you for the work would like to acknowledge you.
Hmm.
And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
But that's basically what you're paid for. It's your role, so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
The reason why I do nonfiction is because it is very, very hard to get into somebody's head with fiction.
Yeah.
And if they can't
Mm.
explain what they're seeing, there's no way I can write it.
Oh.
I did used to offer fiction, but it just, I just don't think it works the
Mm.
same. The type of nonfiction I would primarily focus on is memoir or business, or
Mm.
anything like that, because a lot of the time with business, people just have busy lives. They can't write a book about what they do, so they just need somebody to take that over. And
Yeah.
memoir can be really hard for people to write, especially when it's about yourself, or
Yeah.
if you um like traumatic experiences and you don't want to have, like, you want to be able to tell someone what's happened but you don't want to relive it so
Yeah.
explicitly. So I kind of come from it in that angle of helping people share their story
Yeah.
without it being too overwhelming, if that makes sense.
It's very
um
journalistic as well. I'm sure you're just feeling
yeah,
like there's a reporting element of it, but you are putting it into more like a narrative sort of, I guess, shape.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And I think that the difference that I see also with this, and then, having to be able to showcase who you are as an author, is that while you may not have written the book
Mm.
like physically, you
Mm.
have been relaying the story to somebody else. It's not like you're not
Yeah. Not
sharing it.
involved.
You're just not technically writing it.
Yeah.
But also you are still the face of your brand. So
That's it.
you're showing your personality online, you're interacting with people and things like that. So it's an odd area. Some people like it, some people don't. But I
Mm.
just think I like it because I feel like it's a good way of helping people.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and it's a different way of helping people, but it's just as important as,
Mm.
anything really. Some people just need that extra set of ears or somebody to hear their story and go, okay, I think you can
Yeah.
come at it at this angle, or,
Yeah.
things like that. It's very interesting.
It's so interesting because, in some
Yeah.
ways, I think about like the visual expression of when I have clients come to me and they have their idea in their head, but obviously they don't have the skills to create
Hmm.
their design on the computer and all that stuff. And that's where I come in and all that stuff. And yes, there's an element of me putting my own flair onto it for the type of technical skills that I have. But at the end of the day, the brainchild, it's the result of someone
Yeah.
else's concept
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So
So it's
there's
kind
still
of the
involved.
same as that,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not much different.
It's
It's
not much
just,
different. No.
yeah, that you're just not physically writing it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Some people just need that.
Honestly, it happens so often where not everything happens with just one individual person. You see that all the time in music, where artists will get
Hmm.
songs written for them to perform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah, ghostwriting basically.
Pretty much, isn't it? And it's very
Yeah,
impressive if someone can do it all. But if you can't, I mean, there are services out there. And I love how
yeah,
you are passionate about maintaining the integrity about the
yeah,
story that's being told, whereas it's not necessarily going to be written from the person's hands, but you are the hands or they do the talking.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like another mode of conveying the story. So
Yeah.
I may not be them, but I am them at the time, if that
The
makes sense. I don't
filmmaker
know how to
of the,
explain it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's taking on their story and their personality and their feelings and really immersing yourself into it to be able to yeah,
It's
get a
so
good
impressive.
product.
It's really impressive because I could imagine when it comes to memoirs, because it's someone's life story, it's not something that they've conjured out of thin air. There's probably a
Mhm.
lot of expertise where you can come in and choose what parts need to be highlighted with that story versus what
Yeah.
needs to be kind of like not pushed to the side, but what needs to be highlighted and what's like the shadowy underbelly and just
Yeah.
painting
Like
a
what
different
is
picture.
something that people would want to read about?
Yeah.
Like obviously there are things that happen in your life that are really significant to you,
Yeah.
but they might not portray the same way in a book format, and a reader might not be able to connect to it, or
Mm,
really it doesn't add anything to the actual story element of the book.
yeah.
So it's kind of weighing those options. And,
Mm,
once you have a discussion with somebody about what you should be writing for, what the purpose is, and things that may be significant to you that won't resonate with a reader,
mm.
once you have that open discussion, it makes the process so much easier.
Yeah, I can imagine it's such an enjoyable thing that you do, where you kind of get
Yeah.
to hear someone's incredible story and then you come in and shape it for them. It must be so
Yeah.
rewarding.
And I love talking. So,
And you just,
right.
they can talk to you and
Tell
then you
me
can get out
more.
there. Tell me more. And do you read a lot of like memoirs in your own
Yeah.
downtime? Yeah.
I definitely do. If I want to shut off in particular, fiction's probably the way to go.
Yes.
But I mean, I read a lot.
Yeah.
Memoir is a big favorite, and I think that's what got me into it because you can see the personality shine through,
Yeah.
and it might not be something that you would think you're interested in, but it becomes something that you're invested in. So,
Absolutely. I remember and I'm pretty sure this is a memoir, even though she wrote it herself, Jeanette McCurdy's
oh
book.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
I'm glad my mum died. I think that's
yes,
the title. Now,
that is so
fascinating.
immersive, so
Oh,
immersive.
yes. And that's
Yeah,
probably a rare example that, she wrote that herself. But I think that is because she wanted to and she had I
yeah,
think she had a background in screenwriting or something like that.
yeah.
But have
Some
you,
of them you can
yeah.
really pick up that are ghost written because
Yeah.
it's so distant. Like Prince
Yeah.
Harry's, you could tell that was ghost written.
Ah!
I just like
That was a
this
funny
does
one.
not read like
Like,
you.
yeah.
Even though I don't know who he is, I don't know him personally, but you could just tell there was a disconnect. And it was kind of the same with the Britney Spears memoir. There was such a disconnect with it, and it just didn't feel authentic. Even though it
Yeah.
was an authentic story, it just didn't feel like her speaking, if that makes sense.
Wow.
To me,
Like,
anyway.
yeah, well, you would pick up on that because perhaps you kind of could tell that either maybe if we're talking about the Britney Spears memoir, where maybe she wasn't even present herself in a lot of different ways when that was written
Yeah,
and
I
there was a
just
lot
picked up
going
on a
on.
lot of it. I think that's like
Mm.
the one that's always, I use it as an example a lot
Mm.
because it's a good way of like, you have to make sure you know what you're saying and what you're trying to portray. So it was no
Mm.
secret that that book was ghosted. And I remember
Yeah.
it being talked about, or maybe it was said at the start of the book or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
But right at the end, it said, I'm while I sit on this beach or something, I'm writing this book. And I was like, but you're not.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, oh, you can't say those things if you're not doing it.
that
And it
takes
just
you out of it.
really, yeah.
Mm.
And as soon as I read that, I was like, I feel like I can't connect anymore because it's
Yeah, yeah.
authentic.
It just like that makes me laugh because like I don't know whether you've heard this kind of like discourse or how like if people are using Chat GPT, there's not just Chat GPT, AI language models in general, how if you ask it for advice, it will say something like, in my opinion, or blah blah blah, I would
Yeah,
do this, and it's like you don't have a personality. You're an AI. I don't know whether you've seen memes like that, but yeah, that just reminds me of like it's like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You
It was
no.
kind of like it took me out of it a bit because
Yeah.
it just threw me. I was like, I came into it
Mm.
knowing it was ghostwritten, and then you read something like that, and you're like, hang on a second, this is
Yeah.
weird.
And it's weird how like people are perfectly fine for the majority of people are perfectly fine and they kind of understand that it's not necessarily the celebrity writing it. But if you try to
Yeah,
make it like it is, it's like we don't need to do that kind of thing.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I use that as an example a lot. Like, you don't want to be saying things. Obviously, some people just wouldn't know that things are ghostwritten.
yes.
And especially in indie publishing, you probably wouldn't pick up on it as much because it's not as,
Not common, I guess.
talked about.
Oh yeah,
And
talked
yeah,
about.
it's not as common, especially with memoir because it's
Mm,
quite personal.
yes.
Um, Especially if you're not a celebrity, for
Yep.
example.
Mm.
Um, but you don't want to make that mistake in case people know that you haven't written
Absolutely. I
it.
completely agree with you there. So, I also want to get into your editing part
Yeah,
of your role, and that is a bit different, well, quite a
yeah,
bit different, I could imagine,
yeah,
to the
yeah.
ghostwriting. So, what do you find most enjoyable about the editing part of things?
I love giving structural advice.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like with editing, for the general consensus, like even when I was in uni and I first started learning about all of these things, you would just assume it's just typos and things like that, but it isn't. And sometimes getting into the structural side really can help get
Yes.
the book the best it can be. And it's kind of like you're you're like the best friend of the author and you're just giving advice on what you think
Mm.
would be really good for the reader.
Yeah.
I just find it really rewarding and then going back and seeing what they've done based on that advice. So it's not necessarily writing it for them or anything. It's like giving a suggestion and saying um, this could read better or this could be more understandable for the reader if you did it this way and provide some suggestions. But
Totally.
obviously, each author can choose if they follow
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
But when you go back and look and see how they've developed it, it's so exciting. I love it.
That's so
Um,
cool.
it's kind of just like seeing something grow up as well. Like
Oh,
like a dog, for example, like a puppy, just seeing it grow up. It's like that to me. It's like
amazing.
the development of the story and how much better
Yeah.
um can get just from some feedback.
That's right. And sometimes it really does come down to a fresh pair of eyes, which of course I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of authors do get with beta readers and all that stuff. But it's always when, from my experience working with my editor, when she comes in and has a look at my work, it's like there's like a bullseye. Like that's
Mm.
exactly what I was trying to get at, and you see me and you're
Yeah.
helping me get that out
And it's
because yeah.
really hard when you're the person, like you're writing yourself and you've looked at it for so long. You just
Yes.
need somebody else to come in and go, okay, there's something missing there. And if
What
you
is
add that in, it's going to make it so much better.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
it's exciting. It's kind of like a puzzle, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's problem solving. And
Yeah.
it's so rewarding because it is a collaboration in a lot of ways.
Mm.
And yes, the author is the creator of the story, but it would be nothing without the support of the editor. So
Yeah, and sometimes you
yeah.
just need somebody on the outside to kind of be your cheerleader and
Yeah.
help you make the best out of your work
Yes.
because and having an editor and getting editing, regardless of the level of editing, even if it was like helping structure a rewrite, that is it's so good to just have somebody else, you know,
Just
like they
there.
have your back and they want you to succeed and
Yes.
they want you
Mm.
to be happy with the end product. And that's basically what it is. So a lot of the time when I provide editing feedback, it will be some of it will be really structured and like this is what you could do. And sometimes it will just be like comments like, oh my God, I love this part.
I love those as well when I get that, or like in the latest book that I'm writing, my editor wrote saying, I'm so sad at this character. I won't say something happens to them, and I was like, oh, it's means a lot when there's like an emotional reaction from your editor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I
Mm.
think that's probably one of my favorite parts as well is providing the structural advice and things for development, but then also going, you have done such a good job here. This is how I feel. You should be so happy with what you've done. Like, I love that. It's so
Oh,
nice because you
yeah.
can imagine how excited they would be when they read it.
It's the best feeling ever. And I said on the other side, it really does mean the world when it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, the editor likes it. Yay, it's all good. It's all good.
Cracking when you give your work to somebody
Yeah,
else
it is.
because you're like, it's like imposter syndrome. It's like, am I actually good at this?
I know. I know. I think about that all the time. And then I just have to go, you know what? I got to shake that, myth away.
I
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I even do that with my ghostwriting. Like,
Mm,
sometimes I'll write something and I'll
mm.
go, am I actually good at writing this? It happens to everybody. And
Oh,
so, as part of my process with the ghostwriting, I have editors that I work with that I trust and I know like we work really well together. And I know that they would provide me feedback that helps me develop the story,
that's
but
it.
also, um, allows me to expand on it and things like that. So I always make sure that I send it to somebody else to give me that feedback because
Yeah,
even if you're a writer and you do that for a job, you need somebody to look at it. You need
you do.
people to fill in the blanks. And
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that I find with the ghostwriting and editing side. With ghostwriting, obviously, people come to you because you can write, but that doesn't mean that you don't need an edit.
That's
It
it.
means it just means you know how to craft the story. But when
Mm,
you're so immersed into it, there are things you will miss. So it's
yeah.
always good to have eyes on it, like a
It's
normal
crucial.
process would.
It's critical because it's the
Yeah.
only way that you'll be able to see, well, see what you can't see. Because we are so
Yes.
blind to our own work, and even with my covers that I design for my books. Luckily at work, I can go to some of the people that I work with, which I don't work in a publishing world on 9 to 5. It's not that type of graphic design is quite dry in some ways. It's more educational and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll just show it to my graphic design friends, like, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? They're like, oh yes, yes, this would all that S is weird or all that stuff is there. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's it. You need other
You just
people
need it. Yeah.
do. It's a big
So
collaborative
I
process.
love the editing process
Yeah.
from like if I was to work with a client because I know what I would want from an editor if I was to give them my work, if that makes
Well, absolutely makes sense.
sense.
And I'm sure that's where you're going to be heading next in your new
Yes.
kind of, I say new pursuit when it comes to your own personal writing, because that's something that
Yeah.
you're starting. Is that right?
Exactly.
Or
Yeah, I mean, I've always written, but
Mhm.
I've never taken it seriously because I've been so focused on helping other people. And I've decided,
You're
it's
busy.
finally my turn to come to the front. And also, I think it helps me show what I can do to clients as well
Yeah.
because there's something instead of like because not everybody wants people to know that they've had their book ghostwritten. So when
Sure.
I can't always be like, just this is my work, you can read it because it would break the
In
contract. I can't
contract.
do that. So it's a very hard line there. Um,
Yeah.
I think that me focusing on what I want to do with my book is going
Mm.
to then help me with my business, but
Yeah.
also help me work out where I want to move to in my writing career and how do I want to help other people with their writing and things like that.
Absolutely. It's such an interesting, it feels like a natural progression of what
Yeah.
you've kind of been doing so far. But sh this is still all new, I can imagine, where it's like, now
Yeah.
it's
I mean, I've
me.
never, like, I've written a lot, but I
Yeah,
don't necessarily share it because
this is it.
that's just not my priority.
Yep.
But I'm trying to make this my priority at the moment in my personal life,
Wow.
um, because there'll be benefits either way.
Oh, 100%. I can attest to that. Just go for it. So, can you give us a preview into maybe what this new project, this book is about?
Yeah, so I've got a couple on the go. I'm not going to.
Ooh.
The
Mm.
first one is something that I've been working on for the past year, yeah, about a year and a half now.
Oh,
It's a very personal project. So it's memoir, but part memoir, but part self-help, I would
oh,
say. Um,
interesting.
so it's come from my experience yeah, 2 years in December, my dad passed away from cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mm.
it was a very, very fast process. So he was
Wow.
diagnosed, and 6 weeks later, he was gone. And
Oh
we
my
had
God.
no time to prepare, and it was just my sister and I. Um, there
Wow.
was not really any other family
Mm.
that were supporting us at the time.
Mm.
My mum was around, but my mum and dad were separated. So it
Yep.
was a little bit of it was a different process. So she
Yeah.
helped us a lot,
Wow.
but we didn't have any immediate family from my dad's side of the family assisting us.
Oh
We were
my
very much
goodness.
alone. So we became basically the primary carer of our dad.
Wow.
Um, and it was hard to switch from the child to the caregiver role.
Yep.
Um, and it was a very, very hard process. And I'm kind of channeling that into helping other people because I wish that I had advice and I wish I knew what I was in for,
Yeah.
as an example, or, how I'm going to feel after. So
Mm.
honestly, it's probably going to be a work in progress for a while because
Mm.
my life is going to progress a lot more. Like I can't give an overall, opinion on how to process things because I'm still processing.
Yeah.
But I
Yep.
mean, you process forever, I suppose. Like you're
Mm.
always grieving.
Mm.
But so it starts off like with an introduction to my story and what happened with me, and then it goes through each part is kind of a become. For example, I've got part on becoming the parent, and then
Mm.
the grief before somebody passes away, moving through really important life events without the person that's meant to be there,
Mm.
strategies on how to get help and what is a normal part of grief and things like that, as
Mm.
well as some insights from other people that have gone through the same thing
Oh,
and
wow.
some psychologists and things like that. So
Oh
I'm
my
trying to
God.
kind of put it all together as one.
Yeah.
So with this book, because it's quite personal, I do have to have my story in it to be able to show, like, give the credibility of what I'm writing for, I suppose.
Sure. Yep.
And so it's a mixture of a lot, um, but really it's dedicated to my dad.
Mm.
It has really helped me grieve. We also
Wow.
had a very complex relationship growing
Mm-hmm.
up. And it wasn't until, I don't know, how old am I now? I have to think. It wasn't until the last like 8 or so years that we actually got to a place where we, were
Good.
amicable and we had a good relationship. And so that's another aspect I wanted to touch on too. So
Mm.
complex grief,
Yeah.
and grieving somebody that you didn't have for a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Um, and how hard that actually is once, something happens. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think because I love nonfiction and that's like my bread and butter, I suppose,
Yeah.
it does flow naturally. But I will admit, I have had to take a break because it got too overwhelming.
That is
Um,
so understandable. Yeah,
I I
absolutely.
just couldn't do it for a while. It was too raw.
Mm.
It's nearly been 2 years in December, but I still feel it's
It's
so
fresh.
hard.
Yeah.
And then I got married, and that
Oh,
happened between. And
yeah.
then I was grieving because I didn't have my dad there,
Yeah.
and I knew that he wasn't going to be there as soon as he was diagnosed. There was like a whole lot coming into
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
these big life experiences as well.
Yeah.
I need to kind of sit and process that before I write about it
Yep.
because it's a hard thing to write about.
Oh God, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Wow.
it's a project I'm very passionate about and very
Yeah.
excited about. And I think that I've got something there.
Yes.
And from the reaction I got when I shared what I was writing about, it really made me feel like I was doing the right thing. It kind of feels
Yeah.
like this is my thing.
Yeah. It's for
But
you.
it's just one of those things that's going to be a process, I think. And
Oh yeah.
I initially tried to set myself a deadline, and I was like, that is not healthy. I cannot
Mm.
do that.
Not deadlines are really frustrating at the best of times, but
Yeah.
something so personal and so involved like this particular narrative. Well,
Yeah.
not just narrative, it's really
And I
it's
think the
your
other
life.
thing that I was getting at, so what I struggled with, and
Mm.
this is what I kind of want to highlight, is when you lose somebody, like a parent or like a caregiver or things like that,
Yeah.
when you are in your 20s to probably between 20s to 40, you don't have anything there that tells you how you're going
Yeah.
to feel. It's very isolating. The support groups are for children or they're for older people with that have lost children.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
didn't have anywhere to turn to
Mm.
or anybody that I knew that lost a parent this way, especially a way that was quite traumatic.
Yep.
Um, I I had no friends that had gone through it. There
Yep.
was no support groups. I couldn't find any anywhere. Um, and what ended up happening is I found a grief counselor and I was like, do you know anyone that could do this? And she made a support group for me because I needed it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is the people that are contributing are part of that grief group. So we're all kind of putting our little spin on it.
That's
And I think
amazing.
that's important too, because I don't want it to be just my experience because everybody has a
Mm.
different experience, but we all kind of come together and have the same overall feelings and
Yeah.
um, the feeling of being alone, even though you're not alone. Like I still have my mom, I still have my sister, I still have my husband, I still have my mom's side of the family,
Mm.
but you do feel alone.
Yep.
Um, and especially when you don't have you've kind of you're grieving the loss of also that side of the family. That is my
Yes.
biggest thing as well. So yeah, it's a lot and it will be a process, but
Yeah.
I'm still very passionate about it. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of grace there because
Absolutely.
it's not an easy thing to write.
No
I flew
way.
through the first part and then I got to actually writing the bulk of it and I was like, okay, I need to take a break. Um,
Yes. Yep.
so it's all planned out. I've
Wow.
got everything ready to go. It's just, yeah, I want to do it when, I've got time to sit down and process because I know once I start bringing up these things, it will be hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Wow.
one project.
That is one hell of a project and such an important project. So many people are probably crying out for a story like
Yeah.
this to be told and be a reference and some support for so many people that have gone through this that's not really talked about enough
Yeah,
in this kind of
exactly. Because
world.
like my whole life kind of got put on hold.
Yes.
I my dad was living very, like, at least an hour away from us.
Mm.
Um, we had to convince him to move down so we could look after him, and he
Oh.
didn't want to. He wanted to be
Oh.
left alone, and we couldn't leave him alone. And then I had to, I was so, it's so good. My mum opened up her home with her
Wow.
partner and let my dad come and live there.
Oh
And
my
so I moved
goodness.
in there too to look after him. So
Wow.
my whole life changed in the span of 6 weeks, and then it all fell apart, and then it had to all be put back together again. So it
People need
was
to hear this story.
it
Absolutely.
was
Yeah.
it was very hard, and
Mm.
it's not something that people talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm very open with my grief, sometimes a bit too much, and people don't know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
it's one of those things that everybody processes differently,
That's
and
right. Yeah.
talking about it is helpful to me. Making jokes
Absolutely.
about it is helpful for me sometimes.
Absolutely. There's no textbook. As you said, there might be
No.
some reference books, like perhaps that
Yeah.
you're going to be developing, but how can you ever, prescribe how you're meant to feel after something like this? You just
Yeah.
can't. Yeah.
It's it was hard,
Yeah.
but it's something that I'm passionate about, and
Yeah.
I think that it will lead on to more for me,
That's
which
right.
is good.
More to an already absolutely incredible life that you are living. And you're not 30 yet, is that right? Are you still in your
No,
20s?
not.
Case
Yes.
in point, case in point that there are so many experiences to come from this, and there is no time limit. You cannot rush
No. And
beauty.
that's what I keep reminding myself as well, because while a big bulk of the topic has happened, there are going to be things that happen in my life that I don't know yet, and I don't know
That's
how
it.
I'm going to process that without my dad around.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things I'm going to be chipping away at for a while.
Yeah.
Um, I still, I still want to get it out soon, but I'm not going to pressure myself there.
Yep.
Um, and I can always turn it into a blog later on and add to it. I don't know.
So
Because it's
many
always going
things.
to be going on. That's not something that
Yeah.
will ever. So yeah,
Yeah, I think it's going to be an evolution of whatever's going to come next, and it will come out naturally when it's
yeah.
ready to come naturally.
And I think the fact that I I'm so passionate about it, and
Yeah.
I've everything's there. It's just the getting it done. Um, I know that it's what I need to do. I've
Mm,
never felt so clear about a writing project in my life, and I've spoken to a lot of people about it. I've had some advice from a mentor
mm,
um, in the space as well. So um, I know that it's the right thing to do. It's just, putting a pause on it for a while, and,
yeah.
letting myself kind of heal a little bit before I go digging again.
That's right, because you've got to be in the best possible space that you want to be in order for your best possible work to
Mm,
shine as
yeah,
well. So it'll take
exactly.
time, but I will be sitting and waiting very patiently, like many,
That's
many
right.
people, for it to come out because it's incredibly important and it's going to mean a
Yeah,
lot, not only to yourself, but to everyone that reads it. It will be so
yeah,
profound. I think these stories need to be told. So I'm so excited to
definitely.
hear that you're working on something so meaningful and so close to your heart. So just
Yeah,
add that to the list of
it is.
all the amazing
It
things that
is.
you do.
And
Yeah.
I am working on a fiction at the moment as well.
Yes! Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. You got to tell me
Yeah,
about that. Oh my God. That's
yeah. So
amazing.
it is going to be a romance,
Mm,
but instead of it, so the what I kind of feel that I miss from reading a romance is uh, it's not really, it's not the storytelling, it's the meaning behind it, and that each character is an individual, and it doesn't
mm,
have to be a big romance, and the whole narrative is just about being in love or
yeah.
having like experiences like that. There's more to it than that.
Yes.
Um, so while it's a romance, it's also more what is the word? I had it in my head and now it's gone. It's more there's more to it than just love and
Yep.
romance.
Yep.
It's there's a big backstory. It's
Mm.
about self-determination and self-development and finding who you are. And love just happens to be on the outskirts, I suppose.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of writing the book that I would like to read, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and I love a romance and I love not having to think about like a major plot and, having to remember names of things and the
The
map in your
world.
head. Like, I love that. Um,
It's a
but
lot.
it is a lot. And I
Mm,
think that, yeah, I've kind of got to a point that I want to read and write things that have more than one meaning. Does that make
that's
sense?
it. Absolutely. That makes a great story, a well-rounded story where it's not just one thing, but
Yeah.
there are so many different layers that you're going to be putting in this one. Mm.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. I haven't got that far either, but that one is going to be flying more because I'm not waiting on anything there.
That's it.
It's kind of I'm just writing it.
For
It's just
fun.
coming out.
You
Yeah.
probably need a balance between,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
heavy writing of the memoir from your own perspective and the grief that is involved with that versus something
Hmm.
that's maybe a little bit more of a, what do they call it? Not fantasy,
Like
because obviously it's not.
light and fluffy, but also not like coming
Yeah,
of age.
coming of age,
Yeah.
something different, something that just takes you out of the day to day, and
Yeah.
you can live
Definitely.
vicariously in some other ways through that, in
Definitely.
whatever
Nice.
capacity. Oh, I'm so excited to see what's coming up next for you, Caitlin, because there's just so many exciting projects that are just
Yeah.
bursting from your seams. Like,
Yeah, and
what? Yeah.
yeah, I can't shut up about any of them.
You don't need to
Like
because you're
the
here.
ones that
Yeah.
the ones that I work on for clients, obviously I don't say exactly what they're writing, but I'm
Yeah.
like, wait until you read this, it's gonna be so good. I'm so invested in it. Or
Oh, that's right.
even same with editing, like I get so excited about
You're
these
like,
things.
you got to check out what's happening next, You got to see what's happening next. But that
Yeah.
does lead me into my next question, which is what
Yeah.
is next for you, Caitlin? What's next for Green
Uh,
Hill? What's next on the horizon for
wow.
everything going on?
That's a good question. Obviously, what's next for me? Developing my writing, my personal writing, obviously.
Yeah.
That is a big goal and milestone for me. I kind of have a little bit of a new business idea I've been floating around as well. Um,
Oh,
that is related to the ghostwriting that I do. So I'm very
okay.
excited about that. It kind of all ties everything together and my experience together. Um, so when I've kind of nailed it down, I'll talk about it more.
Absolutely.
But
Wow.
um, I feel like I found something there, and I
Yeah.
think I found how what I can offer people can help people in a more beneficial way than it does now, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
it's not just sharing a story, there's some benefit around it for the like the author, but
Yep.
also the surrounding
The surrounding,
people.
the
So
people.
that is
Oh,
what I'm working on. And then with Green Hill, obviously, we've got our book festival coming up in October. So we're very excited about that. Um, and that is our big focus at the moment, just, getting that going.
yeah.
But obviously, there's always something like
Always
every
something.
week a new cover design. That's like the next thing that I am so excited about. I love it. I can't wait to see all the things that come
Yes.
out. So yeah, just more good design, learning more about the industry,
Mm.
getting connecting with more people. I
Expanding.
always want to talk to people and
Yes.
industry, even like especially with Green Hill, what we're big about is advocacy and giving information. So regardless of if you publish with us, we want to help people understand the
Mm.
indie publishing. And that's a big part of what I love, just, opening
Yeah.
up people's eyes and, explaining a lot of different things of what you can do and then what you should be thinking about, what's right and what's wrong, and, you
Yeah.
know, things to watch out for, things to be cautious of. And yeah, it's
It's
definitely
amazing.
very rewarding. So
So
there's a
rewarding.
lot of things that I'm excited about, but yeah, I just can't wait to see where we go next. It's one of those things, it's just we we move naturally and then something will go, all right, that's the next thing. So
That's
yeah,
the next
who
one.
knows where we'll go.
Who knows where you'll end up, but it's going to be favorable, no doubt. It's going to be such an exciting and incredible journey that you're going to be on. And to wrap up this amazing chat that we've had, where can people find you and all of your offerings, your socials, all that? Plug yourself.
So people can find more about what I offer for my personal services. So the things like ghostwriting, editing, and things, book coaching, things like that through my website, which is loadsofbooks.com.au. And then obviously my Bookstagram page. I've been working on that Bookstagram page since I was in high school. It's not going anywhere. I'm on my like 12th year now. So um
I've got to make sure I
I
follow it. You've got to, what's the handle of that one?
it's at loads of books.
Of course I
So
follow. Yes, okay. Yeah, that's right.
so
Yeah.
that is my baby. I've been working on that for 12 years now. I have deleted a lot of posts because there were some embarrassing teenage posts on there. So I did delete a lot of them. But
That's
um,
normal.
that's where you can find me there. Also, LinkedIn.
Hmm.
So um, this is a good question, actually,
Oh.
what it's going to come up as because I was Kaitlan Sharpe and now I'm Caitlin Clennett. So
Oh.
it will be either of those.
Sorry, I have announced your name
No,
before.
that's
I
fine.
didn't realize you chat. Sorry, but
I don't
yes.
actually
Yeah.
think I've updated any of my business stuff to be my new last
Ah,
name.
okay. All right, we can
So
start
that's
with that.
fine. But
Yeah, cool.
I kind of go by either. I'm gonna keep, you know, both because I've built all my things up
This
as
is your
Caitlin Sharp.
author
That's
name.
me.
That's
Yeah,
it. And then
it's
your
me. So
personal name, that's different.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So but I do think my LinkedIn is Caitlin Clark. I'm not sure.
That's all
But
right.
it will be connected to my website anyway.
That's it.
And so yeah, that's probably where I'm primarily the most active, those
Yep.
places.
Yeah. Wow. That's it. You're everywhere. You're everywhere all at once. And you're
I
not
did have a
slowing down.
TikTok, but I'm really bad at TikTok. So I need to start that up again, but I need some lessons on how to use it because I just don't know.
Oh, goodness me. TikTok is a strange beast, that's for sure. But you've already got enough. People can find you in all of those
Yeah.
different platforms. So we are all sorted there. But Caitlin, I need to say a massive thank you for being on the show today. I've learned so much about ghostwriting. Also, your perspective on editing has been so insightful. And thank you for being so candid and open about anything, a lot of things to do with grief, tough topics. I know people are really going to appreciate your honesty with that. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you too. It's been amazing. It's nice to chat.
Nice
I'm,
to
I'm
chat.
very passionate about all these things. I'll talk your ear off forever. So,
Please. I wish I, oh, sorry, I just knocked my microphone. I wish I was in Adelaide again this year. I was there in May. I was there in
yes,
May, but that was
well,
different.
soon.
Thank you so much for listening or watching the Indie Author Life show. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to know more about some of our other fantastic authors and other creatives in the indie author space, please check out our Substack, which is Indie Author Life Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like, a follow, subscribe to hear more about stories from the indie author self-published space. Finally, if you want to know more about the books that I write under the name MG Hunt, you can check out my books Still Waters Run Deep and Ilara and the Passing on my website, which will be in the show notes below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hope to see you in the next episode. Take care.